Right, it's time to start cleaning this up. Pretty grotty, so I'll stick some gloves on for this one. The 12 string wasn't as bad, but oh, gloves on. And then we can have another look once that sort of cures and dries a little bit there. I said cure. Once it starts to dry, we can have a look properly. While we're at it, we'll just see a rough idea of how high this action is. Yeah, the action can be taken down by the looks of this saddle. We've got a truss rod, so let's see what that is. There's a small hump at the join here, but I don't know how much that'll affect everything, so what we'll have to do is string it up and see where we are once it's strung up. But the saddle's quite sort of roughly cut from the factory on the bottom. It's not even square, I mean, wobbles about in there. Fair amount of dust inside. But this was wobbly. I noticed this tuner was wobbly up here, so it'll just be the screw, I should imagine, that's loose, unless the bushing damaged. That's much better. Not as tight as the others, but this hole in here is slightly oversized. So we'll see about that when we come to it. Put a little bit of oil on here. Definitely need some more oil. Let's tighten the rest of these up. Lovely. I have a couple of cameras here that I should probably be utilizing at this point to do any videos, but this is I don't really have the time to edit anything, so using my phone's easier, I think. So there's actually a bit of chipped fret here, like a fretboard. Oiling that up, I can see it now, it's not covered in dirt. There's actually a chip here, very strange. I'll show you what I mean. I'll bring you in for it. So there's the chip. It's just in here. I don't think the fret's loose. Very bizarre. Yeah, it's got a bit of damage, so maybe it got banged. Something at some point. But while we're here, the fretboard's nicely oiled now, and so is the bridge. Very nice. So now I can stick some strings on it and the pins in. So I'll pop you back up on the tripod holder thing and crack on. Those up here. I'll have to do a sort of tour of the room at some point, maybe when there's less guitars in. I need a new blade in this, didn't even cut through there. Ah, rubbish. New blade. New blade time. Ugh, string packets over there. You can hang back up the wall, I don't need a yardstick now. Okay, so we'll do this the first time. Nothing's really going to be tight. We're just going to get the two E's sort of tight. Okay, so now we have a ridiculously high action, which isn't going to improve when all the other strings go on, unless this top sinks, which will be a horrid issue that needs fixing then anyway. So what I'll do now is pop the saddle out, because there's only these two strings on. It won't really matter. Take the saddle out, take a fair amount off because that's quite high. I mean, this thing might have high frets, but that's even too high. You know, that's not acceptable really. So I'll be back shortly with this a little bit smaller. After some measuring and measuring again, I cut this to be what I think is the right height, and now I'll stick it in and have a look. Remember, the nut's not attached at the moment, so it's not going to want to join in. So just hold that and make sure that's okay. The E there, and just pop that in. That's much more manageable. I mean, it's still on the high side, but I haven't strung it up to see if it's got any fret buzz. I mean, I can check with the straight edge. You know, the fret rocker, there's definitely a high fret there, a high fret there, high fret. The ends are lifting, the middles are lifting. But you know, it's to be expected. At the moment, I'm not going for the lowest action here. I'm just going to get it so it's more playable, and then see where we are basically. And if it's good enough to sort of continue just setting it up, or is it good enough? Or is it going to be much more beneficial contacting the customer and suggesting they do have the frets dressed, you know? And you don't have to be at pitch. I mean, the action's not super high. It's a lot lower than it was, and the nut is still high, so that needs adjusting. And you know, I've not adjusted the truss rod, but the neck's pretty straight apart from that hump around here, which, you know, I'm trying to maintain not hitting, so keeping the action a little bit higher. So what I'll do now is detune and quickly tack that nut back down, because that's just doesn't seem to want to play ball and stay in place. So we'll just glue in there just for now. I mean, that's like one drop, well, two drops in fact, one on each side. But it's such a small amount of glue that if I wanted to take that off now, I'd just have to gently tap it with a hammer. But it shouldn't move when the strings are in, so it, you know, that's valid as a way to hold it. You don't need to. This nut doesn't need to be stuck in with all the glue in on earth, or welded in place or something. It can come off. That's the benefit, because it's a changeable product. It's wearable, so this nuts wear out, saddles wear out, frets wear out, you know, fretboards wear out to some extent. So just stick some more strings on. But again, I'll just speed this up because you don't want to see me putting strings on. And then we'll just tune it up. This nut is outrageously high. So let's get that trimmed down. This nut is quite high. So what I'll do is just loosen up the string a little. Take it out of its slot. Take the file. Alright, I'll move the camera. So yeah, back to this. Tuned up. So there's some of the high frets we noticed earlier. So at the minute, I mean, if you play it lightly, it's not really much of a bother. Very spongy though. This be maybe a fraction tighter. Right, well there's a bit of buzzing. I mean the action could come down a little bit more if the buzz wasn't there. So maybe I should ring the, I say maybe, I'll ring the customer, the owner, and see what they have to say. If they want to have a full fret dress, they can. So I spoke to the customer and he said that I might as well just dress the frets as it's here. So I've straightened the neck, and I am now just taping everything off. So that's done. What we'll do is we'll take a Sharpie and spend forever cleaning it up. Okay, now we take light passes just to see where the issues are. So I don't know if you can see that. You can see it. We've got a little bit, it's taken the top off here. It's probably easier for me to see it here. It's taken these off. It's taken off here. It's not really taken much of these three, but it's taken a little bit off here and some off here. Quite a lot of that one. A bunch here where the join is. So, you know, the frets aren't even by any means. So what I'll do now is just plod on and quickly level these things. All the frets are now level, so now it's time to crown and dress them all. tidy these up in a minute. Let's get some strings back on and see where we are. Yep, so I think it's pretty much done now. Creaky chair. So now it's done. I'll cut the excess string.